A gorgeous afternoon for practice and qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series from Road America. This is a place that has so much history, and that's why it's so emotional when a driver gets the opportunity to visit Victory Lane here.
4 miles long, 14 corners, low speed and high speed, long straightaways, and a narrow track. It looks like a two-lane highway.
Try not to be a big baby and cry on TV.
NASCAR win #1 for A.J. Allmendinger.
Roger, if you're watching, I love you. Thank you, baby.
I've wanted to win at this place for a long time, and you have no idea how much of an honor it is to drive this stuff.
These fans here were incredible. There's not an ounce of this racetrack that wasn't covered in awesome race fans.
And cars are starting to roll around this 4-mile, 14-turn road course alongside Hall of Famer Dale Earnhardt Jr., the mayor, Jeff Burton, Rick Allen with you. And by the way, we are with you all weekend long on USA, so keep it right here. We're looking forward to obviously racing from this road course. The Cup Series will be back here for the second year on Sunday, and all of that again on USA. But this track obviously favors some drivers, and one of those being A.J. Allmendinger. The guy is on a roll.
Well, A.J. Allmendinger's won 3 in a row, and you would think with 3 in a row you would have this incredible level of confidence. But when I talked to A.J. yesterday, he said, look, we've done this with a little bit of trick with some mirrors and some magic, and he's like, we don't have the speed that everybody acts like we have. And even in the garage, when I talk to the competitors, they're like, look, AJ's speed at Portland that he won, and even here last year, is not what we've had to contend with in the past. 3 in a row, you would think everybody thinks he's the favorite, but lately there's a little crack in the armor.
Well, definitely. And Junior, when we're walking through the garage, there are a lot of names on cars that we don't normally see at, normal Xfinity races, but there's some great names that are in this field.
Yeah, Kyle Larson is going to be in this field this weekend. What an incredible talent. He'd be driving a Hendrick car. They haven't brought a car from the Xfinity Series out of their own shop since 2009, so this is a pretty big effort. They're going to have multiple races this year. Kyle starts it off this weekend.
And Ricky Hendrick paint scheme, I think, on that number 17, so that's pretty exciting. All right, let's head down to the pits and Steve Letarte.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. You mentioned some of the challenges that are here at Road America. One of the biggest challenges is the track itself, the length of lap time, the length of track, and how long it takes. This is only a 20-minute practice on pit road. So when I talk up and down to all the different crew chiefs, the concern is how much time will they actually get? Maybe 2, 3, 4 laps is what they're hoping for. If they're super lucky, maybe an adjustment and one more run. So a lot on the line, but not a lot of practice time for these teams to get it figured out. But joined here on pit road, a new face to the networks of NBC and here on USA, but not a new face in the garage area, a longtime reporter, a veteran of NASCAR, Kim Kuhn. Welcome, Kim, to the broadcast.
Thanks, Steve. I'm so excited to be a part of the team, the new kid on the block, but I'm not the only new face here on the grid this afternoon. Sammy Smith making his series debut in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and I talked to him right before he jumped in the car for the laps he's putting down now. He said he's as prepared as he can be. He's running the TA2 car this weekend here at Road America. He said he sought the advice of Trevor Bayne, who's also making cameos in that 18 car for JGR. And on top of that, he has worn out the simulator. He said even though the TA2 cars are different, the lap time still helps as he makes his debut. Something else he's got in his toolbox, crew chief Jason Ratcliffe. Jason won here in 2019 with Christopher Bell, so certainly Sammy Smith in his debut has all of the tools to make it a successful first weekend in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Thanks, Kim. The 18-year-old making his very first Xfinity Series start had a huge smile on his face when he walked into the hauler to meet with Wayne Otten a little earlier today.
Yeah, first of 8 races that he's going to have an opportunity to drive this 18 car. He's got Andy Lally right behind him. That's a good guy to put a little pressure on him. He's a really good road racer. But one of the interesting things, guys, with all the rules that we have today, there is an opportunity for a driver development test for a young driver, but because he just turned of age to drive an Xfinity car, he couldn't do that test. So this is literally the first time he sat in an Xfinity car.
Kyle Weatherman just behind him. But yeah, what a great guy to follow. Obviously, Andy Lally, so much success in IMSA, multiple-time champion of that series, and so much success on that level, especially in the road course world. So we see Ty Gibbs, also another one of the young drivers. Ty Gibbs out here making laps off so much success already this year. 3 wins for Ty Gibbs, none on road courses yet.
We talk about AJ and Kyle Larson and all the other guys that are going to be in this field that'll be competitive, but I think all of them might be chasing Ty Gibbs. We've seen him not only be great at ovals, but he's very, very fast on the road course tracks as well. In Portland, probably the best car there.
His first win came at Daytona in his first start in the Xfinity Series.
Interesting shot right here as you're looking out of the windshield. You can see a track map in front of him. That track map is not to remind him of where to go. He knows this racetrack, but simply what are the numbers of the corners. So when he's communicating with his team, when his spotter's talking to him, they're all talking the exact same thing. He can look at that. They're all numbers, just good information to remind everybody, okay, turn 5 is this turn, because there's so many corners, it's easy to confuse them.
Heading out of turn 8 there into the carousel. Carousel looks like a fast corner, but this track surface is so worn out, so abrasive. Really wears the tires pretty bad, and they have to kind of roll around this very carefully onto this straightaway, which comes up to one of the most terrifying parts of this racetrack, which is the kink. Blind. Look at that wall on the right. You don't see the corner or the exit of the corner till you are through it. And then very narrow down through this part of the racetrack. If a car gets in trouble here or off track into the wall, it's coming back across the racetrack in front of competitors into a very bumpy braking zone in Canada Corner.
And look at the difference in all of these corners. You have high-speed corners, you have low-speed corners, you have high braking areas, you have almost no braking areas. Just very diverse racetrack in regard to the corners and the shapes of the corners. So Ty Dillon driving this weekend hard on the brakes. His car never slowed down. No smoke or anything. Junior didn't lock the brakes up. It just did not slow down the way he anticipated it.
Yeah, it's possible that he may have started wheel hopping and just knocked the car out of gear and rolled down through into the braking zone. Another car here, the number 92 car, Dexter Bean.
Yeah, Wisconsin native.
And the other thing about Ty Dillon, let's don't forget, is that, oh, look at that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's probably wheel hop on corner entry. But Ty Dillon's been driving that Cup car with a completely different shifter. You almost could have considered that he didn't get it downshifted correctly and didn't get it slowed down.
Well, he was just smart to not lock the tires up like you mentioned. Let it go on through that, through that runoff, save the tire.
Westby, Wisconsin for Dexter Bean, about 200 miles from here, but getting an opportunity to run here at Road America. He's been able to race in the Xfinity Series before. Right now he's got Ryan Vargas right behind him.
I was going to mention Ryan, usually in that number 6 that Ty Dillon's driving this weekend, but Ryan will be in the number 47 car on your screen for this race. So Ryan Vargas fans will be able to pull for him. Look at the ripples in the racetrack as they try to navigate that braking zone. A lot of lockups here in the race. Cars trying to take opportunities to pass in that braking zone as well. A lot of different colored patches, newer and old asphalt through this section of the racetrack.
A limited amount of time on track for these guys, and as we see Dyson making his way around the track now. Interesting talk with Miguel Paludo, a very experienced race car driver. We see Preston Pardis here on screen now in the 91, but Miguel Paludo driving the 88 this weekend for Junior Motorsports actually stepped in and he said, I'm actually very nervous. He said, I have to qualify to get into this race. And he said, it's difficult. This series has gotten so much better, and it's different. It's different than what I'm used to driving, where he drives in Brazil. He's won numerous races there, championships. But when you come over here, these heavy cars, the brakes aren't as good as what he's used to driving, so it's difficult to get that feel in a very short amount of time.
And under a ton of pressure, having to make the race. You talked about good road racers. This guy right here, Preston Pardis, I think we could throw him in there. 3 top 10s in the Xfinity Series. He is an incredible race car driver. Drives in the Mazda Series, which is extremely competitive. And he is the man over there. He's really fast, a lot of championships. And what's really cool about him this weekend is Boris Said is spotting for him. We all know how good of a road racer Boris is. I ran into Boris. He said, I don't have to tell Preston anything. I'm not here as a coach. Preston Pardis is plenty good, But having Borisset as a spotter, that's quite an advantage in my opinion, because he can get, no matter how good you are, Borisset can still help you.
Yeah, 3-time Spec Miata champion. Won the Mazda race here a year ago.
And he's 16th fastest.
Right.
You know, so there's Preston Part is 16th fastest. And he's faster than an RCR car, faster than a Junior Motorsports car, faster than a Stuart Haas car. That's how talented this man is.
And look how he's using this racetrack, sliding that car around, pushing as hard as he can. And that is only 16th on the board. You're giving everything you got. And he's a good little road racer and still not able to put the car in the top 5. Pretty frustrating seeing guys be able to go out there and go faster.
Just about 9.5 minutes remaining in practice for the Xfinity Series. Stay with us. Eventful practice already, especially for Noah Gragson, who just was off track.
Looks like he was maybe going through the kink on the back stretch. Right here is the kink. It's the 7 car following his teammate through there, and Noah's backwards. He's going to make some contact with the wall. Really lucky that wasn't worse.
That corner is where we saw a ton of action last year in practice. It looks like it's a super high speed area, but it is easy for the car to step around on you. And the big concern for Noah and his team right here, Steve, is, you know, there's only a few minutes left in practice. Then we go straight to qualifying. Can they get this car repaired in time? Can they get back through tech? Can they be in a position where they can qualify this car, or are they going to have to start in the back?
Yeah, Jeff, I'm down here in pit lane taking a look at it. You know, definitely some contact with the rear bumper. I'm trying to take a look at the deck lid. That usually gives you a good idea if something's been moved. The spoiler, you obviously can tell there's some damage because there's some openings in the seam. But overall, I don't think it's too big a damage. I think you could just tape up the right rear corner a little bit and probably go qualify. The question is NASCAR okay with it? Because the deck lid has a gap to the quarter panel just above that hand area right there above the taillight. So do they feel like the tail's been pushed down or the deck lid up? I would be arguing that the tail's down and this thing's just fine. I'd be going back on the racetrack, but I don't know if I'd win my argument.
So deja vu for Noah Gragson as we go back to the last road course, which was Portland. It was in the rain, obviously, but this happened.
Yeah, it was hydroplane down the front straightaway and hard into the wall. The splitter digs into the ground. And so, you know, Noah pushes hard. He's a hard racer. He doesn't like anybody to pull the reins. He wants to go out there and push and go beyond the limit, figure out where that limit is.
I think Noah, you know, I watch Noah race a lot in the K&N series, trucks. I feel like Noah is a good road racer. I feel like he's a guy that can make good lap time, and but, you know, things like this set you opportunity back to go learn.
Should we give you the statistics on what you just said you thought? Because
sure, give me something.
82% of the time, Noah finishes in the top 10 in his road course starts. So, yes, he is a very good road course racer.
For once, I was right, Rick.
Those statistics backed up your comment. Riley Herbst behind the wheel of the 98, and you see where he is coming into turn 5.
I love this shot right here because we got a great in-car out the windshield, and then we can show you where he is on this racetrack because this is such a long racetrack. This is a heavy left-hander. Watch as he climbs this hill. It's really difficult about this corner is you can't see the corner. It's a hard left-hander to come in. You can't see it till you get to it. And so understanding where to put the car, Junior, approaching that corner is really important.
Yeah, that's where we saw Preston Pardis had some trouble up that hill. This will be a downhill straight line braking zone into turn 8. A lot of lockups here with the tires, and then still those rumble strips right there. You can see it shake the whole car. You have a lot of those on corner exit. Really difficult to get traction and throttle down when you're running on those on each exit. But you have to use that racetrack up. Real slow, careful on the throttle through the carousel, trying not to slide the tires. Now accelerate, hard into the kink. Blind entry here. Now you can see the rest of the corner. Throttle up, long straightaway into a difficult braking zone here at Canada Corner. Bam, 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 a lot of bouncing in the front end here. Tires trying to lock, tires trying to slide. A lot of room on exit there. Heading up to 13 and 14. Different types of asphalt here, newer and older patches. A little downshift there.
A lot of wheel spin also.
Yeah.
14's the last corner. It's really important to get this corner right because this straightaway is so long and you climb this hill, and if you did that corner well, you can gain some momentum. And getting into turn 1 is an incredible passing opportunity because it's such a heavy braking area, straight line braking, which gives you a great opportunity to try to make a pass.
4 miles around this road course is a lot of opportunities to make up ground. But when I was talking with Brett Moffitt, he said there's also a lot of opportunities for mistakes.
Well, if your car is just a little bit off on this length of a racetrack, that little bit adds up to a lot each lap.
Kim.
Yeah, and I had the opportunity to catch up with Justin Allgaier, our most recent winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, before practice, and he talked about how crazy and long this week has been for him, that he hasn't been able to catch his breath. Get this, he celebrated the Nashville victory in the shop Monday, but then flew directly to Pocono to do the wheel force test. He was in Pocono Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, got back last night, now is here at Road America today, and he said the bright spot at the end of that long tunnel of a week, he says he likes that they have the shorter amount of practice time, at least at this track, because of the win he's had here, the comfortability at this racetrack. And he said specifically, when you go in and out so much, as we've seen in past years with extra practice time, more opportunity to mess up the car, which is exactly what his teammate Noah Gragson did. So Justin trying to just catch his breath after a very busy week, winning Nashville and then doing that real force test.
You get to celebrate ever?
Gotta go to work.
Celebrate a little bit.
We did celebrate. Yeah, we had a beer toast at the shop.
All right, take a look at this. 2018.
Yeah, Justin is a really good road racer. I think it's important to remember the Cup came here for the first time last year, but the Xfinity Series has been coming here for a fair amount of time. 2010, I believe, was their first year at the Grand here. So these guys have a lot of experience at this racetrack. You see the wheels. So what they've done is they've created and built their own set of fans. So they've got battery-powered motors that are hooked to these fans, and all that's doing is just pushing air through the wheels, Steve, out through the rotors, just trying to get the brake temp down so that when they put the new tires on it, it doesn't immediately run the air pressure up and put heat into those tires.
Yeah, Jeff, that's exactly right. I mean, this is kind of a new world, doing everything on pit road in this quick turnaround. So now the teams are just trying to take as much time to get as much heat as possible out of the car so its performance can be the best when it comes to qualifying later.
I wish I would have designed them.
They look expensive.
They look like they're a pretty smart idea.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You see right here, Ty Gibbs trying to make this move on John Hunter Nemechek this weekend.
Yeah, John Hunter Nemechek said, no, you're not going to get by me here.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. John Hunter's a good road racer as well. But that 54 car, he's just so fast on road courses. You're going to have to contend with him. There's no question about it. You'll have to contend with him for the pole as well as the win.
And John's in that 26 car that has had many drivers in it throughout the season, but has had some very solid runs from those drivers. So he's got a good opportunity at a great run, and red flags out finally. This session's over, fellas.
There was a couple guys who actually got 7 laps, though, out there. Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson, Sheldon Creed was out there for 7 laps. Austin Hill, Riley Herbst, Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith was out there for 7 laps. But being such a long course, it's difficult to get that many laps in a short period of time.
Yeah, 4 to 7 is about the average between the field, and you know, they'll take whatever they can get. You know, that's not a lot of laps. Not sure that they really learned a ton. Not sure that they can really tell their crew chiefs much about what to do to the car to make it better without really trying to, you know, make a reach for something. But yeah, you know, it's better than starting the race cold, not knowing how to get down into turn 1, how to get into the, you know, these long straightaways with these deep break-ins on. At least you got to charge those once or twice to really understand, okay, I can be this aggressive right at the start of the race.
When Junior and I raced, it took us 3.5 hours to be at a round road course. These guys do it in 20 minutes. I mean, it's amazing how quickly they have to adapt. I mean, we would have 3 practices on a weekend getting ready to run a road course, and now they do it in 20 minutes.
Well, remember, it wasn't that long ago when they weren't getting any practice during the COVID time, when they would just go right out on the track and the race would begin. So a little bit of practice. It's qualifying. That'll be coming up next. Sunday on USA, NASCAR Cup Series racing from right here at Road America at race coverage beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to join us for Countdown to Green. A pre-race starts at 2 p.m. So full coverage on USA this weekend. And a little bit of an eventful first practice here for Noah Gragson. Kim?
Yeah, Noah Gragson having a little bit of a wild ride there in the kink. What happened?
I wasn't supposed to use the curbing in that corner, and I did. And overall, I think our Bass Pro Shop True Timber Black Rifle Coffee Camaro is pretty quick. I feel really good under the braking. I think we made some gains there, but yeah, got on the curb, got curb happy, and ended up spinning through the kink. Luckily, it's not. Normally, the wrecks through that corner are pretty big if you go off, but we just barely scraped the wall. I think we can get it fixed for qualifying and not lose our positions for the race after qualifying. So, you know, proud of this whole team at Junior Motorsports, and just an error on my part. But it's lucky it's now trying to learn some stuff rather than in the race.
When you make an error like that and have an incident, does it make you more cautious or apprehensive, especially when you're in the same spot on track during the race?
No. I mean, I was trying to go through there and utilize more curbs, so I guess I kind of did that correctly, but it doesn't work. So no, I'm gonna throw them back up on the dash and try and get after it for qualifying.
You mentioned you did learn some stuff. What did you take away from the very short practice and few laps you had out there?
Don't hit the curb through the. No, there's a lot of great drivers, a lot of Cup guys that are running this race too. So, you know, the thing that I wanted to work on was maxing out my braking zones and kind of coming with a different mindset than I have in the past couple years. But the main focus is for the race, for me personally, is just stay on the racetrack. I think you can have a top 5 day, but you know, we have great speed in the car. I think a lot of the Junior Motorsports cars are fast. We have 6 of them out here, so everyone's working hard. But extremely thankful and ready to get on track for this weekend. So 4th of July doesn't get much better than this.
That's Noah Gragson. Guys, you heard it. Don't hit the curb. Stay on the racetrack.
Well, Noah said he had speed in the car. He's 7th fastest. Let's look at this curve that he's talking about. Why can you not use this curve versus others? I mean, some racetracks, you use the curve. Some corners on this track, you use the curve. But this one is very tall, and also it's segmented, Junior. There's some of those that are taller than the other ones, and if you get the right rear tire on it, it just shakes the car loose, and around you go.
Yeah, you're coming through that kink so fast. When you put the right side tires on that curb, it can de-wedge the car and take a wedge out, make the car instantly loose, hook the car and spin it around. Steve.
Well, I know you guys talked to Noah, who had a little issue in practice. Another car that had an issue in practice, not on the track, but in a mechanical sense. The 16 of A.J. Allmendinger. Here it is behind pit road, back in the garage area. Chris Rice and team looking underneath the hood. It's a braking issue. A.J. says that he can pump the brakes up and get a pedal, but it's not consistent. It's a long pedal, therefore they had to bring the 16 to the back. I confirm with NASCAR, because it was removed off pit road, this car will start from the rear tomorrow. So one of the favorites in the race, second in practice, will not be able to qualify later today. And at this point now, the question is, can they get the issue diagnosed and have confidence? No more practice. The first lap will be in the race.
Almost a good note then for A.J. Allmendinger, because the last road course they were on, he won from starting in the rear at Portland.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's no question that he can start from the rear and win these races, but that is a real concern, not being able to get out there and actually test this car, get a lap on it, able, you know, really charge a braking zone. And understand really what they hope that they find an obvious problem, right? If you find like an obvious issue, a hole in a brake line or something like that, boom, you fix it. You got great confidence that you're going to be okay. But if they don't find anything obvious and they just sort of have to replace calipers or master cylinders and so forth and hope that some of that fixed it, they won't sleep much tonight.
One of the drivers who got the most laps out there on track was Riley Herbst. He's with Kim.
21st on the pylon, but the most laps out there in practice. What was on your checklist, and were you guys able to accomplish it?
Yeah, we just kind of wanted to run the whole 20 minutes because we obviously don't have that much practice time. So try to take advantage of all the laps we can get. Obviously, there's a pretty stout field here today at Road America in the Xfinity Series. So just trying to get back in the rhythm of road course racing. Obviously, we got some heavy hitters here, but we have quite a bit of work to do on this Henry Rifles Ford Mustang. But I know that everybody at Stewart-Haas Racing will give it a good go here in qualifying and see what we got.
A bright spot for you has to be the run you had at Portland. You guys showed so much speed at that road course, although very different than Road America. Are there things that jump from one road course to another?
Yeah, just the rhythm, fundamentals of going left and right. But the biggest difference between here and Portland is it's about 75 and sunny here. And I think we just took advantage at Portland of the downpour and just trying to be patient and stay on the racetrack. Ultimately, I didn't and made a mistake. But that's how we were able to get speed there. So, like I said, it's a new day here at Road America, and go give it a go.
That's Riley Herbst.
Had a great conversation with Riley Herbst this week, and, you know, he's having his best year, and they've had 10 top 10s this year. Last year they had 13 in the whole year, and this season's not even, it's not even halfway over yet. So Riley Herbst and his team are starting to gel. His confidence is high. If he can come to a place like this, Junior, on a road course, at really difficult racetrack, and have a solid day, that just add to that confidence.
Absolutely. Let's look at some practice times here. Jeremy Clements back there in 10th. Won this race in 2007, got 17, actually.
Yeah, we heard Riley say heavy hitters. Take a look at this. I mean, Cole Custer, A.J. Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick. I mean, there's huge names that are going to be in this field this weekend.
Alex Abay, you always know he's going to be good on road races. Sheldon Creed, Preston Partis, we talked about. Algar all the way down there in 18th. A surprise to see him that far down there.
Saw Andy Lally's name on there. There's Riley Herbst, 21st in this practice. Sammy Smith making his first ever start in the Xfinity Series. And the rest of the field, Miguel Paludo in 31st, all the way down to Dexter Bean in 40th. Again, qualifying coming up next here on USA. Two groups will go out in qualifying. Group A is now on the clock, and the drivers in Group A, we'll give you a list of them on the left side of the screen here. These are the drivers fighting for the top 5 times from this group so that they can advance and be a part of the top 10 starting positions. We'll take the top 5 from Group A, the top 5 from Group B, and then put them back out on the track a little bit later after both groups have gone out.
They have 14 minutes to make 15 minutes to make this happen. But, Junior, we saw already how abrasive this racetrack is. Unless you make a mistake, you really need this first lap to be the lap. You really need to take advantage of new tires. If you get into that 3rd or 4th lap on tires are not going to be as good. So this first lap is really important, Steve.
Yeah, Jeff, the first lap is the one, and I'm going to try to bust my way into this Junior Motorsports / Hendrick driver debrief. We got Noah, Justin, and Kyle Larson. So, Kyle, I'm going to grab you real quick here. We don't get this. We only talk to Noah. I'm not ignoring you, Noah. We already interviewed Noah. We don't see you often in the Xfinity Series. You're here, Road America. Is this basically just try to get some more laps?
Yeah, definitely. I've only raced here twice, and the 2 times I've been here, I didn't really feel special. So, wanted to get more laps and just to really benefit Saturday for Cup Car. And, I'm sure there'll be things that transfer over to Sunday as well, but really it's for Saturday to be better. But yeah, my car feels really good. So hats off to Hendrick Motorsports and Junior Motorsports for putting a lot of effort into making this deal happen. Really special paint scheme and number. So, hopefully we can get that in Victory Lane on Saturday. And again, just try and learn as much as I can this weekend.
All right, I'd ask him. I want to let the man go. We got qualifying underway. He's here debriefing with, I call him his Junior Motorsports teammates, but Kyle Larson happy with his car so far. And speed right off the truck, Junior and Jeff. I mean, I don't know why we'd be surprised, but I mean, top 5, even in a car that drives different, shifts different, brakes different than his Cup car.
Well, it's been a good effort between, you've heard it, Hendrick Motorsports and Junior Motorsports to get this car here. And he's got a lot of great people specifically on that car from Hendrick to oversee this operation so that it'll be competitive this weekend. No surprise. I expect him to absolutely be racing for the win tomorrow.
Yeah, and Rick Hendrick was surprised. He said, it's amazing. It's been 17 years since Ricky passed and died in that plane accident with Hendrick Motorsports. And he said, this is great. Whenever we can talk about Ricky, it's wonderful for me. And this is a Ricky Hendrick paint scheme. This is what he drove in the Truck Series, the number 17. Again, in honor of Ricky, and just the whole organization embraces what Ricky was able to accomplish in his short life.
And so to clear up any confusion, I think we know that Hendrick announced that some of their drivers will drive races in a 5th Junior Motorsports car on some weekends, but this car is not that car. This is a Hendrick entry that will also run some select races with different drivers behind the wheel. And we got guys crossing the finish line now, just starting to
get on their lap.
First lap. Yeah, actually just getting their first lap going.
And you see Ty Gibbs and Brandon Jones running together. This normally I would say is a terrible idea. Like being close together on a 1.5 miles in qualifying, you know, I think that it would be hurting the 19 car. It would actually be hurting Brandon Jones. But on a road course, if you can chase a guy and you can get behind a guy that you know is fast, he can help pull you along. You can kind of cheat a little bit off his braking zone. There's so much speed and being able to use that as a reference. So I love the fact that Brandon Jones, trying to be a better road racer, goes right out behind Ty Gibbs, who is a good road racer, to try to help this qualifying effort.
Yeah, what you want to do is make sure you're getting behind the guy that you think is going to run one of the best laps, and then try to push as much or maybe a little bit more than him without getting yourself into trouble.
These guys are getting ready to come to the alternate start-finish line. The reason for that is so that if they were at the original start-finish line, they'd have to make an entire lap to get back to pit road. This gives them the opportunity, if they want to bail out after a lap, go back to pit road, they can, and their time is off of this alternate start-finish line, which is right before they make that right-hand turn to go up the hill and have the original start-finish line and pit road in front of them.
Yeah, it's painted. You can barely see it right there. That yellow line right there across the racetrack. So when they cross that, their lap is over. That's where their lap starts and ends. So they can immediately, right after this, like you mentioned, Rick, go to pit road and make some adjustments or you know, call it a day.
And you just use this for practice and qualifying. We talked about Ty Gibbs, how good he is of a road racer. Sam Mayer just 0.8 of a second, beating by 0.8 of a second around this racetrack. Sam Mayer is an underrated, in my opinion, he's an underrated road course racer. I've watched him in a TA2 car dominate the field. That guy can road race. And that is a big time right there at 2 minutes and 14 seconds. That is going to be a challenge to beat.
Custer was fastest in practice, and now he is 1/10 of a second slower than what Mayer has posted.
And remember, the top 5 advance. So Sam Mayer, we talked about it before. Lap 1 is when you need to do it. Now, Sam Mayer can sit there most likely with that lap time and not have to go back out to protect it. And he will have only 1 lap tires in the second group.
We see Sheldon Creed on track. He's about 9/10 of a second back from what Mayer, who's the fastest in this qualifying session, has turned. Anthony Alfredo with a good lap. You see him in the 23, just went into the red.
Jeremy Clemens always runs well on the road courses, sitting there in 5th.
One of the biggest upsets in recent history was that win here in 2007 for Jeremy. We mentioned that earlier. 48 car, Tyler Reddick coming to, I guess, he's starting another lap because he's already crossed that line.
Reddick is going to go again. He's another one of the Cup drivers in this field this weekend. You see gray at the bottom of the screen, Hemrick, Allmendinger, and Reddick. Reddick, obviously, this will be his first lap that he will be on track. Allmendinger, we know with brake issues, isn't coming out onto the track. And then Hemrick will find out where he is on track and why he hasn't posted a time yet. As we watch, though, Tyler Reddick, when he went out earlier, was 5th fastest in practice. We would anticipate, as we have just about 7.5 minutes to go for Group A qualifying. We'll be right back for the finish. Tyler Reddick just finished up his lap. He's inside the top 5. He bumped Jeremy Clements out. It is a full weekend on USA and a lot of motorsports. Not only the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, but so much more to keep it right here on USA all weekend long. As we see the 11 of Daniel Hemrick, he is now getting ready to be on the clock. You see him in the green, and we're comparing that to Sheldon Creed, who is 5th. The top 5 will advance to a second round of qualifying for just the 10 fastest, the 5 from Group A and the 5 from Group B. defending series champion Daniel Hemrick. Heading into one. And right now, only 4 cars on track, and Hemrick's closing in on Ty Dillon, who will be right in front of him as he gets into 5.
All 4 of the cars on the track are on the same straightaway, and Hemrick's the last one. So hopefully those guys understand that he's on his hot lap and give him plenty of room should he catch them.
A lot of spotters around this track too, so that's a lot of communication there as well.
Yeah, it really is, and it's really important for spotters at this point, because we just talked about how important tires are. You need to make this lap work. We talked about Sam Mayer being an underappreciated road racer. I feel the same about Daniel Hemrick. Daniel Hemrick has become a really good road racer. Finished second here. Oh, of course, big time.
You jinxed him.
Wow, do you see how high that car came up off the air when it ran through that hole? I did jinx him.
You were talking so good about him.
Oh.
He got loose right there using the curbs, and Noah talked about the curbs being tall in some parts of the track, and that certainly launched the car across the racetrack into the dirt. Really lucky right there that the splitter did not dig into the racetrack and come off the race cars we see happen from time to time.
Now, Junior, had this team gone out earlier in the practice session, in the qualifying session, and that happened, they could just quit this lap. Ride around slow, cool the tires, and then go back out and make another run. But they can't do that. There's only 3 minutes left in practice, so he's just got to go. He's just got to go make it happen. That's one of the negatives in waiting to go out late. It gives you very little opportunity to correct a mistake.
That's going to be 12th fastest. He'll be pretty disappointed with that one. Such limited time there to get back to pit road, cool down, and get another chance at it.
Yeah, the clock at 2:45 now for those that are going to continue on with these laps.
And that one lap knocks a lot of speed out of the tires. As long as the track is and as abrasive as it is. See Ty Dillon out here on the racetrack, and this could be as much to try to improve his time, but just get more laps. Get another opportunity to get a little more experience on this racetrack in this car. I don't think Ty's been in the Xfinity Series a whole lot over the last couple of years. A couple races here and there, but this is a JD Motorsports chassis. A little bit of help and assistance and resource from RCR, but pretty cool that JD is using their own car in this effort.
Just under 2 minutes to go, and a couple more cars have come out onto the track to try to potentially improve their times.
You see Myatt Snyder out on track all the way down in 16th, and we know Myatt Snyder is a good road racer, but just not have the speed today, unfortunately.
Sheldon Creed came back out on the track. I think because he was 5th, he wanted to make sure that if somebody did upset his time, he would have another shot to get back in that top 5, but now he's just rolling slowly around the track.
Ty is really conservative. You don't see him running off on corner exit across the rumple strips. A little bit of dirt there from the interior of the carousel gets him a little upset, but on corner exit, he's really conservative with this car. See, he's not using a ton of curb there. There's some runoff, and those drivers use it every inch of this track. Ty, I think, is just working his way up to really kind of pushing the limits of this car in the track. Doesn't want to go over that line too early in the weekend.
Yeah, he had a little bit of an issue in practice. He did get off track in practice, so we're not wanting to make that mistake again. You could hear it in the rev limiter.
Ty has not run an Xfinity Series race this year, so this will be his first run as he makes his way up to the pit road.
But if you have the opportunity to run this race to get ready for Sunday, I mean, we just saw one of the greatest drivers in our sport, is driving here in this, in this race, Kyle Larson, to be better for Sunday. But what I thought was interesting, what he said was, it's about being better tomorrow. Like when he unloads tomorrow, not having to get accustomed to the track. So if it helps a guy like Larson, it can certainly help everyone else.
Mayer, Custer, Reddick, Gibbs, and Creed all end up in the top 5. They will be fighting for the pole. When Group B is done with their qualifying, we'll put the top 10 out there again. As a race fan, the 4th of July weekend is absolutely perfect. So much racing taking place on the NBC. Obviously, you've got the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, but everything else, everything NASCAR is right here on USA, and that's what we're looking forward to. Xfinity Series race tomorrow, as well as Cup qualifying will be tomorrow, and then the Cup Series race also on USA on Sunday. But so many great things taking place again all weekend long across the world as far as motorsports go. Steve?
Rick, down here on pit road with the man from round 1, Sam Mayer, 19 years old, from just down the street in Franklin, Wisconsin. Sam, first of all, let's talk about your car. It's fast, unbelievable lap time. How'd it feel, and what do you think moving into the next round?
Yeah, definitely getting that practice before qualifying definitely helped out. I was able to pick up on a lot of cues that the racetrack was giving us just based off grip on exit and all that kind of stuff. So it definitely helped having practice. Our jockey and Accelerate #1 car is really good on the long run, I think, as well. So I'm actually pretty happy with the fact that we qualified that well. So I think we're going to have a really good day tomorrow if we put all the rest of the pieces together today, and hopefully get in victory lane in my hometown.
So you mentioned your hometown. We were talking before about, what, 40, 45 minutes down the road. This is only my second trip to Road America. This place is amazing. The fans are amazing. What's it mean to you to come back, now your second Xfinity start here at Road America?
Yeah, the fans up here are definitely crazy. They're definitely a breed of their own. They're so much fun. Obviously, they love racing, short track racing, and obviously NASCAR in general. They love supporting it. So having the fans over here at Road America, obviously this place is a big party with a race in the background. So it's really cool to be able to hang out here and see it all happen, and obviously race cars too. So it's tons of fun being up here again, and I'm looking forward to racing.
We'll let Sam get back and look at the data. He's got teammates yet to practice, or excuse me, yet to qualify. One of those teammates, the 9 of Noah Gregson. We had that update, a little bit of damage in practice. I stopped by, talked to Luke Lambert. He said he spoke with NASCAR. It was his option. It was light damage. If he wanted to go to the garage, he would give up his opportunity to qualify, but be able, since they were able to fix it on pit road with some tape and a little ingenuity, the 9 can qualify and, more importantly, keep the qualifying spot. Kim?
Let's catch up with Tyler Reddick, fast car in Group A, 3rd on the board. You'll be moving on to the next round. What do you have for that next round, and do you attack the track any differently?
Yeah, certainly. You know, with only 20 minutes of practice, I mean, you only get so many laps around this place. So thankfully, you know, I have an amount of experience from, you know, my previous Xfinity seasons and the Cup start last year. So we just wanted to go out there and fill out our Big Machine Vodka Spy Cooler Chevrolet, see where it was, pretty much just run the practice through. And the car drove really, really well. So it was just a matter of kind of seeing where we gave up a little bit in that practice, and just trying to get, you know, 90% of it in that first round. You know, not make a mistake, not lock up, hurt the car, trying to, you know, go for fastest, but make sure that we made it to the second round. So we did that. Certainly can see where I have some room for improvement, which is nice. So I'm feeling pretty excited about, you know, the second round, and you know, we got to wait and see what these other drivers in Group B do as well.
We'll wait and see, all of us together. Tyler Reddick moving on to the final round of qualifying, looking for that pole position here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Thanks, Kim. As we look at the top 5 from Group A, Sam Mayer, the Wisconsin native, up there in front, and was able to outdo Cole Custer. Now, and as well as Tyler Reddick. The reason I bring that up is we're going to see maybe one of the best racers in NASCAR in Kyle Larson right now in this next group. Can anybody outdo him on the track?
Well, this is fun TV right here when they set it up and have some guys go out there and leave a mark. And now this group has to go out there and try to see how they compare. But the 5 against 5 for that final round, I mean, it's going to be pretty exciting to see how it goes down. I expect Kyle Larson to go out there and put up a good enough lap at least to advance. And, Jeff, this racetrack is so beat up and worn out, and it's such a long racetrack, so many opportunities for mistakes. it's not typically like we used to see in knockout qualifying where you could almost assume however they qualified that first time would be what they would run the second time. There'll be a lot of mistakes, a lot of cars not running that same lap time. I'll be surprised if like Sam Merritt could go out there and back that speed up.
Well, also Tyler Reddick kind of made reference to, I ran hard enough to make the top 5. So did he save a little bit of tire? Who was able to not have to push their car as fast as it would go to save a little tire for that second round? They're not going to tell us that, but if they found a way to do it, it would be an advantage going into the second round.
Man, that's pretty brave to go out there and leave anything on the table as small as the margins are between, first and fifth place to be able to advance. But here we go. And there's Kyle Larson right there in that 17 rolling on the racetrack.
The list of drivers that are in Group B on the left side of your screen. Again, the top 5 will advance to try to run for one of those top 10 positions with the Group A top 5.
The biggest thing for Larson right here, because they line him up on pit road by points, he's pretty far back. So he has got to get through some of these cars that historically don't go real fast on road course. That's what he's doing right now. He's trying to get himself positioned so he has clean racetrack, so he doesn't get held up. So he's just passing all these guys. The track's open. You can go as fast as you want to right now. Everybody else is going slow trying to save tire. He went just fast enough to get in front of all those people because he does not want them holding him up.
Again, one of the fastest in practice, so we'll be keeping our eye on the 17 of Kyle Larson.
And his spotters, which is there's 3 or 4 for each car around the racetrack, will tell him, all right, you've passed enough cars. You got a big gap in front of you. Don't need to pass anymore. Sit here. Now you can tell he's slowed back down. Now he's just riding, looking for his opportunity later in this lap before he gets to that start-finish line. You can see the 7 car, Allgaier. He's the first car leading this entire group. Now he's going. He's on the button. He's hustling, using up tire, using up lap time. But he's got a little bit of racetrack before he actually gets to the green flag when the clock will start.
Some of that's just trying to get into a rhythm.
Yeah.
Like some of that is, okay, as a driver, I need to go get my braking zones. I need to go on full offense. I need to start attacking this track. You would prefer to wait just a little bit to build that speed, but Justin feeling like, hey, I need to go push myself a little bit here. He blasted off a little bit sooner than some others.
I was talking with Justin. And
a little lockup right there.
Yep.
And that's the trouble with this racetrack. There are several corners, Jeff, where you're going into a braking zone but also turning. So one of the front tires is not loaded. In this case, the right front. As the car's really sitting back on the left rear as he's turning right, it lifts that right front tire off the ground, and there's potential for those lockups in several corners like that.
The question I've got is, he must not felt like it absolutely destroyed the lap, because he could have immediately gotten off the racetrack, gotten on pit road, cooled the tires back down, and made another run. The fact that he kept going tells me that he doesn't feel like it hurt the corner that much. We're getting ready to find out, but he could have just bailed out of the lap coming down pit road.
Yeah, he missed the apex of that first turn of his lap.
And emotionally, Junior, you made a mistake as soon as you took the green, and now you have all of these next corners coming up. You got to get over it. Like, you got to go on. You hit a bad shot off the tee box, went in the woods. The second shot, you just got to focus on the second shot, and that's really hard to do. But Justin's got to forget what happened coming to get the green, or just past the green. Yep. And I know about hitting in the woods.
13 more turns in front of him. It's 14 turns here at Road America. But definitely difficult when you screw up the first turn. This will be the benchmark that everyone will measure themselves off of. He's the first one on the clock. 2 Brandt cars in the field this weekend, with Miguel Paludo driving the 88 Brandt car. He races for Brandt in Brazil when he runs.
Justin's a really good road racer, but didn't really have the speed in that first practice session. Not like we're accustomed to seeing.
And we'll see what kind of lap he ran here. A 2:16, so not the best lap as far as going against the first group.
Yeah.
That would not have made the Fast Five in the first group.
And he's got a pretty stout Group B here, as you see Kyle Larson, and he's trying to take advantage of all of the asphalt here.
Right now, Riley Herbst is the fastest at a 15:55. Gragson in the 15 as well. Larson will go to the top, 15:33.
So if you're Riley Herbst, you feel pretty good about that lap. We talked about his confidence and having a good year.
You try to cool it off if you're Allgaier. You're at 2:16.37 and moving down quickly, almost out of the top 5.
Well, Josh Bilicki just knocking down to 5th, and still you've got some good cars left to go. There he is. He's out.
You mentioned Josh Bilicki. He got his start in NASCAR right here at Road America. When he looked at the entry list in the Xfinity Series and it said TBD beside the driver name, so he called the team up and he said, hey, you still have TBD listed. Do you need a driver? And they said, sure enough. He said, okay, I'm going to get my license. Got his license and was able to race that weekend.
That's awesome. Junior Josh Berry, a guy that, you know, we know from late model racing how, I mean, he's great in the late model, really good in this Xfinity car, winning races, very limited road course experience, but you know, 7th fastest so far right now.
Yeah, the only road course experience he has is this year in Xfinity Series racing, and there, you know, no testing, no real practice, only 4 or 5 laps at this track today is the only time he's ever been here. So he went to Coda, he was lost, and he's a great example of what all these guys experience when they go to these tracks for the first time. This is a long course, so anybody that's here for the very first time, you're lost when you go out there. You need a whole half of a day to really get to understand where the limits are for each corner of this racetrack. In 20 minutes of practice, you might get about 3 of those corners down.
Yeah.
And then you're going to spend most of the race trying to learn the rest of the track. And really, by the end of the race, you're feeling pretty good.
Well, at least you hope you're feeling pretty good by the end of the race.
Yeah, if you haven't made too many mistakes to eliminate yourself.
So Larson has been the fastest to post a time, as we see Ryan Sieg on track here in the 39, just finishing up his lap. Ryan Sieg was 11th quickest in Group B.
We're going to take a look at the top 5 from Group A down there at the bottom. Sam Mayer through Creed, and you can compare that to our top 5 at the top of the pylon, Larson to Bilicki, and see that the first segment, the first group, had much quicker times. It's a bit surprising to me, Jeff, because as we get later in the day, you'd think with shadows getting cast across the racetrack, it might be improving speed and grip in this racetrack, but had some pretty heavy hitters in that first group.
Yeah, and it's you know, so strange, and you said it a little bit ago. I wouldn't assume that Kyle Larson and Sam Mayer will be the fastest in the next group.
Yeah.
Gets so mixed up. And we don't know. Like, there's drivers that made mistakes. And we don't know that. There's drivers that, you know, we saw Kyle Larson way off track. Like, there's drivers that said, you know I missed turn 3 or turn 5 or whatever. I can clean that up. And if they clean that up, they know how much speed is left.
You can interview every single one of these guys when they get out of these cars, and each one of them is going to tell you something they could have done much better on their lap. There was a corner, exit, an entrance, braking zone, or something that they didn't get the most out of, or they overdrove or slipped.
Landon Castle coming up to the green. One of the drivers that has yet to post a time.
He slid that right front tire a little bit as well. That light corner just slides that right front, makes you miss that apex just a touch, coming just past, taking the alternate start-finish line. Now it's about heavy braking. Like, there's so much speed on road courses. If you can drive into the corner really deep, under braking and still make the corner, but you saw right there, he's trying to do it, and it still is good, though. He's still in good shape compared to Bilicki.
This is again to get into the top 5 so you can make it to the next round, the final round.
You can see every corner there's a little haze off the back of that car from that right front tire, as he's just right at the limit of grip in every braking zone. This guy right here, Landon Castle, I think we're all excited to see him in this car this year. He has always been one of the most exceptional qualifiers. All through his career, big overachiever when it comes to being able to go out there and make a lap.
Right now, still in the green, 0.4 of a second faster than Bilicki, trying to knock the Menominee Falls, Wisconsin native out of the top 5.
Remember, spot in the field, A.J. Allmendinger, his teammate, Landon Castle's teammate, A.J. Allmendinger, is not qualifying. He had brake problems. He's going to have to start at the back. So an opportunity, the guy that's won 3 in a row is going to have to start at the back. So that creates an opportunity for everybody else in the field.
Through turn 8 in the carousel, he lost a little bit of his advantage. We'll try to put together a good final few corners here to be able to get this car and this pace back into the top 5. Canada corner, number 12 and 13 and 14. Actually, just a few more corners here, right here. 12 and 13, and this lap's over. So right on top of Bilicki's time.
There are some cars that are leaving pit road right now, and they're going to have to hustle it around this track. Just 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in Group B qualifying. They've got to make it to the start-finish line before that clock runs out.
It shows you Landon Castle was in the green for 3/4 of the lap. And he had one section of the racetrack that he lost. And then he could never make it back up. And it shows you how every part of this racetrack is important. If you give up something somewhere, you can't just go find a way to make it up in the next corner. Once you've made that mistake, it's done. It's over. So let's go back and see what happened to Landon Castle. Look at him. He's in the green. Big time up. Gets into the corner, drops the left sides off the racetrack. Now he's working himself back in, but just a loss of momentum, Junior. Just a little bit of loss of momentum, and now he's trying to correct it.
Yeah, he did. Had a little trouble on 8. Then he tried to charge the carousel to maybe gain back some whatever. He felt that lost time in dropping that tire. He realized that was a mistake, and he carried a little bit too much speed and slid the back in the middle of the carousel. More lost time. Then he tried to settle down and just try to put together a good lap to finish those final corners, and ended up with an 8th fastest lap time. Not too bad. It's really tight right there between Bilicki and Justin, Josh Berry, Castle, Pardis, all those guys right on top of each other in lap time.
Allgaier's back out on the track. He just went through turn 2, 3, so he'll be trying to get back to the start-finish line before the clock runs out.
John Hunter locked that right front up as well. John Hunter way down in 18. Must have made a mistake. 4 seconds, essentially 4 seconds off the pace. Must have made a mistake somewhere. So there's a opportunity here for John Hunter Nemechek to move himself way up the board, even if he doesn't get into the top 5, to improve his qualifying position.
Wow, he's real shallow in the braking zone right there. And that's going to cost him on corner exit, and you see the time dropping. Doesn't seem very comfortable in this car as far as getting into the braking zones. Look, he went shallow again into that braking zone and then just plowed through the center.
And he's just quit. There's no sense in continuing to run.
It looks like the car, when he's getting into the braking zone, the car is really, really loose, and so he's turning in super shallow.
And a big transition. We see him in this car, right? But he primarily runs trucks.
Right.
And, will be a championship contender in the truck series. A major change of how you drive these 2 different vehicles with 20 minutes of practice. It's a big challenge.
Yeah. I just don't know why, if you're Justin Allgaier, you go back out, because he's beat the tires up. Look, he's beat the tires up. Saw a car off track there for a second. Looks like the 5 car is off track over in turn 6 or 7, but you've already used up a lot of tire on this car. I don't know that even if you do improve, how much.
Did the same thing he did on his first lap.
Now just stop. Just quit. There's no way that you can make this work.
Yeah.
But he's still digging. He's going to use this set in the race.
So if he does advance, you get into that top 5. Right now, the worst he's going to start is 12th. if you do advance into this top 10, how are you going to run a competitive time against these guys with better tires, right?
Joe Graff Jr.
So you're going to what? You're going to start 9th, 10th, 11th, maybe, or you know, somewhere around there.
Look at that right there. I mean,
that was wheel hop, and he had locked up the right.
Both.
Yeah.
And you know, that was just after taking the green. He's only 2/10 off of where he needs to be, even after all that. But I'm with you, Junior. I think this is a point of diminishing returns.
Austin Hill in the 21 is in the green.
Austin's into turn 8 and headed through the carousel, so he's relatively halfway or more through the lap, and still with a good shot here.
A little bit of dirt there, but
losing a little bit of time.
Nope, going the wrong way.
Yeah, Bilicki moved himself up into the top 5, still in the top 5, Austin Hill trying to take him out. Algar showing a little bit of speed also.
He flashes in the green as we still see Austin Hill in that 21. 0.2 of a second, hovering right there over Josh Bilicki.
Just 2 more corners here. Canada corner here, and then a little bend of turn 13. Back here to the left. He's going to do it, I believe.
He's coming up on the start-finish line. That alternative start-finish line right there. How about that?
Now that 16:09 is 5th, and look at the time difference to Allgaier now. He's half a second off. I just call this lap off if I'm the crew chief. He's got 2 corners where I don't believe he's going to make up almost 3/4 of a second. Oh, he's really pushing that car. You can see the back moving around, sliding, under braking.
I tell you what concerns me for Allgaier is that he wasn't fast in practice, and when he's tried to push the pace, the car won't do it. Like you see the car bouncing around, the back of the car moving around. Like what are they going to need to do to get this car so tomorrow he can drive it the way he needs to drive it? Because right now I don't see him having the equipment that he needs. They're going to have to find a way.
Larson, Herbst, Gregson, Smith, and Austin Hill, the top 5 in Group B. USA's newest reality series, Austin Dillon's Life in the Fast Lane. Catch new episodes Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, only on USA. Last night, they ran into a little alligator issue. The girls didn't know about, by the way. Steve.
I tell you what, I think Landon Castle here is doing a great job of getting his sponsor on. Back your fire suit, that's pretty impressive. Landon, just outside the top 5, we were talking a little bit about the choice of making a second run or not. You're thinking no reason, save tire?
Yeah, I mean, that second run's at least a half a second slower. I know you were saying Dale was worried about the 7 car, the tire wear on that car. So, I mean, that extra lap on the tires really does make a difference. You know, these stages are awfully short, though. You know, the 3rd stage is pretty much the entire distance of the 1st and 2nd stage. So, does it make a huge difference? I don't know, but I don't think you're going to go faster your second time out for sure.
Well, let's talk about your lap. 4 miles, 14 corners, a lot of opportunity to go good and bad. What do you make of the lap you put together?
I felt like I blew it right off the bat in turn 1. I didn't really get into turn 1 the way I wanted to. I haven't fully looked at SMT yet to see how I compared, but I think I'm kind of struggling through the carousel. It just seems like I'm having a hard time getting off the carousel, need to carry a little bit more speed. There's a lot to learn about this place. I mean, it's really technical. It's an amazing racetrack. The surface has got so much character to it. You know, I really enjoy this place. I just haven't found the speed. So I've got a good finish here, though, so hopefully we can put one together tomorrow.
All right, well, good luck tomorrow. Cam, we got one more check box in the Dale Jr. side of no reason to run again down here from Landon Castle.
All right, well, everybody has been talking about your lap, Justin. We saw some wheel hopping. What was going on out there? What was the challenge for you?
I wish I knew what the answer was. Just uncharacteristic, really, of how we feel like we've normally been with our brand professional agriculture Camaro, especially at a place like here, Road America. So we've been talking about it. I mean, just disappointing qualifying effort there. But, you know, we've had great speed with our Camaros week in and week out. And, you know, our teammates are really fast. So we're going to have to probably take a look at what's going on here. You know, if we have to start at the back, maybe we just bite the bullet, but definitely not the lap we wanted. You know, it's still close, I guess, to making the top 5, but obviously the rerun there on tires wasn't anywhere near what we needed to be. So just disappointed, but obviously had a great weekend last weekend, and we've had really fast cars every week, so we'll get it fixed up and know we have a good shot of the race.
You touched on the tires and running extra laps on them and the tire wear here. How is that going to affect your stage 1, knowing you'll have to start on those?
Well, I mean, obviously you can't not try, right? You got to go out there and try to run that second lap and see. I think the 21 actually bumped his way into the final group there. So, we had to try it. Just unfortunately, we're struggling, and this, in the long run of practice there of the 3-4 laps we got, we felt like tire fall off wise was going to be super important. So disappointing to have that extra lap if you don't go faster, but if you do and you make that final round, then it's worth it. So we'll see where we go from here, but just proud of our team, and we'll see what we got in the race.
A lot of opinions on whether or not Justin should have run that extra lap here in qualifying.
Well, I think our opinion is that when we watch Justin drive his car, what he just said, like his car doesn't have the speed, and that was the problem. Yes, no question, Austin Hill bumped himself in, but when Justin went to push his car, it didn't do what it needed to. Even to the point where he said, we might make some changes here and have to start in the back. And I think that's right. I mean, when I see him try to push his car, how good he is at road races, right now he doesn't have the hardware to get done what he needs to get done.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that maybe he didn't have the information on Austin Hill was Austin was held up by John Hunter Nemechek during his first lap, so that's why Austin chose to rerun. But, got to give it to him. One guy wants to go out there and try to make it happen, felt like he could, and you got to trust what the driver's telling you. He's going to go out there and try to make that lap work.
It also confirmed his car won't do what he wants it to do. So now let's go fix the thing.
We did hear that. A little confusion there from Justin Allgaier. As we look at the 10 drivers that are going to fight for the top 10 spots and that poll: Sam Mayer, Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, Sheldon Creed. They came out of Group A, and Group A looked a little more impressive than Group B, but Kyle Larson is the top of that list in B.
Yeah, he was. But listen, Sammy Smith, we talked about it. This is his first time in an Xfinity car. Just turned old enough to drive an Xfinity car. Come out here racing with Kyle Larson, all these people, and puts it in the last round. That's a big deal for that young man.
Yeah, and I think the question for me is, why was that second group slower? We would expect Kyle Larson to be able to go out there and match pace, and we're going to find out now as we rack them all together and make them all go out there and try again.
We will determine who the top 10 starting positions will be filled with. Can Kyle Larson win the pole here in the Xfinity Series? Stay with us. 7 of the next 8 races in the Cup Series are right here on USA, and they will have pre- and post-race shows also right here on USA. And the Xfinity Series side, 12 of the next 13 races are here on USA. So make sure to make this your location for all NASCAR. Again, 12 of the next 13 Xfinity Series races right here on USA. Getting ready for the final round of qualifying. Again, the top 5 from Group A, the top 5 from Group B will go out. They have 10 minutes to post the fastest lap, and whoever gets that fast lap will be the pole winner. Jeff, I thought you were chomping at the bit to talk there, and then you didn't. You gave me that nice silence.
I guess we have to just wonder. I was sitting here thinking about Reddick's comments, Jeff, about saving a little bit. And,
yes.
We saw that second group a little slower. Maybe they saw the times in that first group and thought, man, I know what I need to run. Okay, if that's what it takes to get in the first group, I know how hard to push to make this top 5.
Can you be that good?
These guys can. I don't know if I still have that. I probably can't be that good today, but these guys that do this every single week, they're that good.
Were you that good when you were back then?
I thought I was.
I knew I wasn't.
I mean, that's pretty good if you can go out there and save a half a second or maybe a second on a lap.
Well, so one thing I find interesting here is who goes early and who goes later. There is an advantage in going later because your tires are sitting there just cooling down more and more and more. So I would think in this session, you're probably going to get one lap. I would think that you might want to just sit back and just wait as long as you can. Now, there's a danger in doing that. Someone could have a problem. Session could end. You didn't get a lap in. There's a danger in doing that. But at this point, you got a reasonable starting spot. You're top 10. Mm-hmm. So maybe just wait as long as you can to cool those tires as much as possible.
Yeah, well, that said, I think there's also an argument that going right after you just went, knowing that these guys have had very limited time on the track this weekend or just been on the track today for a few laps, the first group has had to sit around and wait, mm-hmm. And the guys that just went, they have that fresh on their mind. Don't be surprised to see the guys from Group B right back on the racetrack, because they just went out there. And they can go out there and just try to improve on exactly what they just did. While the first group has had to wait a minute. You know, some of the things that they did, they aren't fresh on their mind. Because every time you run a lap on this course throughout the weekend, you get better and better and better. When you have to stop, wait, pause, it's kind of like a reset. You have to go back out there and find that limit again.
I'm surprised Steve would let you do that. I would assume that Steve would be like, look, dude, you're a race car driver. Like, you got to know how to do it. We need to cool these tires off, and would have encouraged, you know, to sit and wait and cool tires. But to your point, it's such limited practice, and your rhythm does matter. And maximizing your lap where you just made a mistake in 4, you just made a mistake in Canada corner, where you know you can go fix that. Let me go do that right now. Let me go apply that right now. And many times there's more speed in the driver than it is in the car and cleaning up mistakes.
07, Cole Custer out there on screen now. He is on the clock. And so we'll see what Cole Custer does. He was fastest in practice.
And he was second fastest overall out of everyone who ran in both groups.
We talk about the experience a race like this and the benefit it can give you for Sunday's race. But what else it can do is give you confidence. Cole Custer, in his 3rd year of Cup, has not had the success on a consistent basis that most people expected him to have. So you have to remind yourself every now and then that you can win. You have to remind yourself every now and then you can run in the front. And running this Xfinity Series against really good competition, if you have a good day, can help do that. Now, he is in way too deep. Yeah, just trying to carry too much speed in. So the question is, what do you do if you're him? Do you just stop this lap and try to make another lap, or do you continue on?
So you can see he's carrying way too much speed. These cars moving around underneath him. He's way out on the outside curb, losing tons of traction. I'm not sure exactly how much speed he lost in that whole scenario right there. It wasn't optimal to get through that corner that way, but just how much did he lose? Without anybody to compare to, nobody has put down a lap. Even he doesn't know. His team doesn't know really just how much he gave up there, so hard for him to really quit. I think if his crew chief can see, oh man, we're a second off at this point of the run. Let's stop. Let's come in, cool it off, try again.
What is it even enough time, you know, at 5 minutes and 20 seconds? Is it even enough time to do it? But we talked about it earlier. Can you go to the next thing, Rick? Can you make that mistake and then immediately get your brain back into the next corner and hit that corner perfectly? That's a very big challenge.
Yeah, a lot of guys make a mistake and then start pushing harder, making more mistakes.
Well, we're about to find out what the number is that everyone will be shooting for. Cole Custer crosses the start-finish line there in 2:15.44, or excuse me, 2:15.44.
That's not a bad lap. I mean, that would have been, you know, 5th fastest overall. But look at these lap times. A lot of green.
Larson is second faster right now than Custer.
And that's going to be a 14:31, better than anybody ran in the first 2 groups. Sam Mayer trying to rerun. He run a 2:14.69. He's trying to run that same lap again. He does not. He runs a 15:70 there, so he'll be disappointed that he didn't come close to that first run.
Reddick, 2:16.56.
So that lap Cole Custer made, you said it. How bad was it really? Well, he's still second fastest right now, so he was able to clean the rest of the lap up and not make another mistake, and he's going to have at least a good starting position.
Sheldon Creed ended up 4th with his lap. Why do you think Cole Custer's still on track? Trying again?
I would assume that he felt like he made such a big mistake that maybe it's out there for him. I don't like that, Carl. I think you got to start the race on this set of tires. I'd like to see that Carl pit road.
Pretty impressive first race for Sammy Smith in the 18 here, as he made it into the top 10 and putting together a pretty good lap here. He's 2 seconds off of what Larson is, but again, very first start in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, I mean, he's beat some quality guys here, Tyler Reddick, Austin Hill, and everybody else that's not in this round. I mean, when he goes to look at that lineup and sees his name toward the top of that list, man, that's going to do a lot for his confidence.
He was on track yesterday. Trans Am TA2 practice was yesterday. They don't race till Sunday, though. They race Sunday before the Cup race. And by the way, just so you know, if you run that race, you can't just come here and practice. You have to run the race. You can't just practice. You have to do the practice and run the race, or NASCAR will penalize you.
And Noah Gregson's making his lap, as well as Herbst right here as we ride on board. And Noah was backwards in the wall just a few hours ago, or just not even an hour ago in practice. Now out here trying to put this car on the pole.
Look at the lap Riley Herbst has already started here. 0.3 of a second faster just from turns 1 to 2.
Yeah, he really got up the hill and down the straightaway into turn 1.
Losing a little bit of that speed, but gaining it back now, 0.2 of a second.
And that's smart. He gave up the entry to make sure he was good on corner exit because of this very long straightaway. If you gain time out of that corner, you should be able to continue to gain on down the acceleration of the straightaway.
And we talked about it's a good idea, we thought.
Oh, a little deep there, just missing the bottom.
We thought it was a good idea earlier for one driver to follow another because the guy in the front was fastest, but in this case, it's the opposite. Riley Herbst is actually faster than Noah Gregson, so Riley's got to hope Noah has enough speed for him not to catch him and actually slow his lap down.
Yeah, well, at some point it becomes a distraction because Riley's thinking the same exact thing that you just said, Jeff. I hope I don't catch him. And look at that dust and all these other things. He sees that he's faster. If he's thinking about those things, he's not thinking about pushing this car to the limit on this foot of the racetrack and the next foot and the next foot and every piece after that. He's thinking about Noah. He's thinking about that car in front of him. He's thinking about the line that car took.
Lost a lot of time there through the kink. He's 0.5 of a second off. Yeah. Ty Gibbs, though, still looking pretty strong.
If you lose a little bit in that kink, it's going to multiply because it's so fast. It leads to a straightaway. And you can see the last few corners just have not. The first half of the racetrack was really good for Riley Herbst. The second half of the racetrack has not been as good.
I think this is the only guy left that might have a shot.
We say it wasn't as good for Riley Herbst. He's still second.
Yeah.
That's a huge confidence builder. I think that goes even back to last week. We saw him with tons of speed all throughout the week, starting to build some confidence for Riley.
Riding on board with Ty Gibbs.
Clock's about to run out as far as qualifying goes. Nobody else is on track except Ty Gibbs. So this is going to be it. If Ty Gibbs would be able to find some speed here, but right now 0.3 of a second off of what Larson is, but that could put him second on the starting grid.
Yeah, because everybody else is a second off. I mean, that's what it's like to race against Kyle Larson, right? Like, he beat me by how much? I mean, that's just incredible.
Kyle Larson, the reigning Cup Series champion, right now fastest.
Felt like a little bit of wheel hop in that last corner for Ty Gibbs. You could hear just a little bit of wheel hop hurt his corner entry speed some.
And that'll do it.
Yep, 0.7 of a second slower, and Kyle Larson's going to win the pole. It's his 5th career pole in the Xfinity Series. This will be his 109th start in the Xfinity Series. Kim?
And his first time back in an Xfinity Series car since 2018. Fast lap out there. Did you realize when you were on course that you had a pole-winning lap?
I don't know. The first round, I didn't hit my marks very good, so the next round I just tried to make sure I hit my corners and maximize the braking zones the best I could. And I feel like there was still a little bit of time left out there, especially in one. I haven't quite figured how far I can brake into that corner, but yeah, really happy with my car. In race trim, it felt great. The long run stuff was really good. So I think we have a really good HinterCars.com Chevy. So having fun. Like you mentioned, I haven't ran an Xfinity race in quite a while. So it's different, H pattern, all that stuff, the dashes, having to use a totally different style RPM deal to figure out pit road. So hopefully I don't make any mistakes tomorrow and can have a clean race and learn a lot and try and go for a win.
Kyle Larson putting Hendrick Motorsports on the pole here at Road America, hoping to make no mistakes tomorrow.
It's been so long he has forgotten how to say the word gauge.
There you see the rundown with Kyle up top, Ty Gibbs, Cole Custer, Sam Mayer, some good names there. Going to be a lot of fun at the front of this grill.
Mayer, the Franklin, Wisconsin native. There are 2 Wisconsin natives in the field.
Josh Bilicki with a great run right there in 13th. Sage Karam at 45 and 12th.
Josh Bilicki, the other Wisconsin native. They'll start 13th as we go back here a little further. Preston Pardis, very experienced road course racer.
Daniel Hemrick with a lot of work to do. Missed his corner, only got 1 lap in. Will Rogers, a really good race car driver, down in 28. Ty Dillon, Cup regular in 26.
And rounding out the field here, the biggest name on this page obviously is A.J. Allmendinger. Didn't qualify because of a brake issue that they had, so he starts toward the back of the field as well.
And unfortunately, you see right there, did not qualify. Ryan Vargas, J.J. Yaley, we 3 guys went home. That's always a bitter pill to take.
Yeah, unfortunate. So practice and qualifying complete for the Xfinity Series. They will race tomorrow, and the Cup Series will be on track for practice and qualifying tomorrow as well. Coming up next on USA, except on the West Coast, Too Fast, Too Furious.